I think I misunderstood something in this episode of Miami. Lenny's mom was at the house, and did he tell her to leave? Like, did he tell his own mom, get out, don't ever come back here again? And then let his girlfriend come in? Did he seriously tell his own mom to leave the house just so that he could have sex with his girlfriend? Is that really what we watched happen? Was he waiting for Lisa to go on this cast trip so that he could do this? That's what happened, right? It's so gross that I can't quite process it. 'Cause what gutter trash woman wants to be that person's person? Like, oh my God. Oh, I just got a little nauseous. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, this is really like, and Lisa was on Watch What Happens Live and said that Marina, Lenny's mom, is now on Lenny's side. That she was on her side in the beginning, but now in current time is Team Lenny. Whatever that means, I'm not totally sure, but okay. Shall we get into Real Housewives of Miami? We shall. Here at She Speaks Bravo, we believe that Bravo TV is a great form of self-care and therapy. Look at me. I've been using it for over a decade, and I am a complete mess. Oh, that's me, by the way. I'm Emily. I'm your host on this journey, and I speak Bravo, as I'm sure most of you do too.
What is this, honey?
I love that.
If you're not already subscribed, get subscribed and hit that notification bell because I'm releasing new episodes at least 3 times a week.
Clip! You fool!
That's my opinion!
I talk Bravo, I talk true crime, and sometimes I talk a little scripted. So whatever you're here for, I hope you enjoy the show. Just in case I haven't said it enough, I've got the Patreon launched, and I do release episodes early for Patreon members, about a day early. So head over to the Patreon. All the info is in the episode description. And just one last time for all the YouTube queens, I'm going to disable the memberships on YouTube probably today. Today is December 23rd. So if you haven't signed up for the Patreon yet, or if you don't want to sign up for the Patreon, whatever, go check out the Patreon. I'm going to be offering all the same benefits over there, just that it's all on one platform, way more bang for your buck. I can offer you a lot more benefits there. Okay, now let's get into Miami. What a title. Dumped and Dumbfounded. Savage. We pick up, obviously, right where we left off with Lisa giving us what's going on. I am so annoyed at Julia and Adriana thinking that they're just fighting and pretending they don't see it so they can keep eating. Take the fucking food, put a plate together, and walk over there. Like, I don't get why they think this is... Fine. For Adriana, she's friend of. She's not a full-time cast member. Acceptable. Julia, you're full-time. Honey, put your pants on and work, okay? Put your little pantsuit on, figuratively, of course, and work. Because what the hell? Lisa is giving them the tea, and when she goes, he wants to kick me out. Both Gertie and Alexia, they go, ah! At the same time, they look at each other. Like, the two of them are equal amounts animated, and I'm living for it. Lisa says that he told her on Sunday, then, quote, started dating on Wednesday, and now he has a full-on girlfriend. And so, okay, guys, I don't know if you remember me wondering this, but remember how I wondered if her confessional, when she was talking about the romantic dinner that she planned for him, I said, I wonder if this confessional is after him dumping her and asking for a divorce. And I wonder if she's having to like go back and talk about this, all this stuff after that. Well, it's the same confessional look, the exact same black and white dress. So this is the same confessional. She, in fact, was talking about the romantic dinner that she planned, and I hope he appreciates it and all that stuff. Going back, because I went back and rewatched from episode 1 again and like had it on in the background while I was working, and watching those confessionals, knowing that she will then later be talking about the post-divorce announcement, gut-wrenching. So this is where she explains that the party was Saturday. Then Monday, he was acting strange, which kind of is different than what she said before. So let's say Sunday or Monday, he was acting strange. She said, is everything okay? And he looked her dead in the eye and said, I want a divorce. Nicole's like, do not leave that house. And Lisa's like, this girl has been in my circle. She follows me on Instagram. Lenny has been lusting after this girl for a while. Lisa's like showing the ladies her Instagram, and Alexia's like, she is an Instagram hoe. I bet she is. I bet she's a disgusting, nasty, fucking gross. I mean, that's desperate for any rich guy who will pick her up. Lisa says Lenny told her he's going to go out to all these spots in Miami. Doesn't care. Be with her. He's going to be shameless about it. I don't care. I mean, the heartlessness of this man. And Alexia goes, oh, I better not see him. Lisa called her, you guys, and said, why are you dating my husband? And she said, who told you that? And she said, he did. And she's like, okay, well then go talk to your husband. Nicole tells her to get all the attorneys on retainer. But Lisa breaks down and says, because she's like, doesn't want to face that this is really happening. And she cries and said, I want him to love me, you know? It's sad because he hasn't loved her in forever. You know, it's like she's been so desperately holding on and pretending like she doesn't see it. But we've all been watching it like, he doesn't love you. This man doesn't give a fuck about you. She's been so desperate for him to love her. And we're like, he doesn't. Can you please, like, want more for yourself? Her confessional is like, God. She says, I feel like the person I've been with for 15 years doesn't care about me at all. I never thought the person who I considered like family would turn around and throw me away in the blink of an eye, all while telling me he's going to start dating and you should look into finding a home for you and the kids to go. And if you don't, you're going to get a front row seat to me dating? What? Why does he hate her so much? What has she done to him that is so horrible that he hates her so much? I don't get it. Lenny says, I'll see the kids every weekend. And for me, I'm like, oh, so he's only going to be like a weekend dad? He's already just like, he's thought this through in his head. He's like, that's perfect. I'll just see the kids on the weekend. Because he's like, I don't fucking need to see him more than that. But then for her, she's like, you're going to take my kids from me every weekend? Like every weekend I'm going to be without my children? Now, but here, okay, dude, Adriana and Julia, they come over and they think that they can like get their own personal rundown. No, that pissed me off so much. Like Adriana goes, Lisa, what happened? Bitch, you can ask someone else in the fringe on the edges what happened. You can sit down and go, what happened? You don't get a personal, like she already told everybody it's hard enough. She's not going to go catch you up real quick. Like, okay, so Lenny's leaving me and he's dating someone. Let me just stop real quick and catch you up. That's not this conversation, okay? And then Adriana goes, she better not be getting divorced. Okay. Yeah, no. We're not playing this game. No, thank you. Gertie, of course, steps in and gives advice. This is very Gertie, though. That's what Gertie does. This is where Gertie gets kind of annoying. And it's hard to, it's hard. It's hard to stay liking Gertie, but I'm trying. I'm very much trying. And she is like, you know what? Forget that. Your family is you and your kids. You stay in Lisa Lane. And Larsa is like, listen, if I were in the presence of Michelle Obama, I would listen. So Gertie, listen. And it's, she's not literally comparing herself to Michelle Obama, but isn't she? Lisa's like, I'm in love with him and I love him. And that's what's sad, is she's really confused with what unhealthy attachment is and what love is, because there's nothing to love about Lenny. He treats you like shit. He's not funny. He's not even attractive. He's mean. And you shouldn't love this guy. You should have fallen out of love with this guy a long time ago. Who wants to be with a guy that thinks a party should be full of hotter, I'm putting this in quotes because Lisa's gorgeous, but hotter women, full of him, like just basically a harem for him to choose from. So it's an unhealthy attachment that she's got going on. When they all head back to their rooms, Alexia and Larsa go with Lisa. And, Alexia gives this hug that's like, I know what you're going through. Gertie and Nicole call their husbands. Gertie's husband gives her nothing. Nothing. It was very frustrating, actually. It was like, I wonder what this actually, I forgot that I felt this way about their marriage last season too. Because Gertie's so the most and he's so nothing. He's so quiet. And it makes you wonder, like, is this what all of your conversations are like? Because Gertie's always on 10, talking. And he's like always bored. However, Anthony, Nicole's fiance, he gave her life, okay? He said, take the kids and go? What kind of an asshole says that? I said, thank God we had this to compare it to. Otherwise, I would have been very let down by the husband phone calls or the boy phone calls, whatever you want to call them. Marisol has glam, and she has a funny little moment where she has lipstick on her teeth in her confessional just to be like, a little camp. That was funny. It was cute. But unfortunately, the harrowing tale begins here. Because Lisa gets a call from Marina, Lenny's mom. She goes, the big car is gone. The Rolls Royce is gone. And he said, don't ever come to my house again. She's like, can you imagine? His own mother. So obviously, Lisa is trying her best to do her job because she's getting paid. But she takes her mother-in-law off speakerphone because this is all happening truly in real time, which is why it's amazing cameras are there. But I'm sure there's a big part of her that's like, okay, I don't really know if I truly want to give this to you guys. And this is the moment where she realizes, yeah, we're not going to do the thing where I have everyone on speakerphone. Like, that's what we're kind of supposed to do. So she takes her off speakerphone. But to just be getting Lisa's reactions to things is still very powerful. Because, we are accustomed to getting the speakerphone conversation where we get both. So taking it off the speakerphone and just getting her reaction gives us like more of a voyeuristic view of it. If that makes sense, it still has a fourth wall feel to it. Like we shouldn't be watching this. Is that make sense? So Lenny kicks his mom out. And the driver is gone. And she says, I think that the girl or somebody is coming over here. And then, so this is Lisa explaining this. And then my mother-in-law saw the driver because she was like out front of the house, this mother. And the driver pulls in with the girl in the back seat. I mean, Then finally, at some point when Lisa's on the phone, Lenny calls and she's like, no. You are not going to have that girl in my house with my kids. And then he says something. And she goes, oh, really? Like, oh, can you imagine what this man is saying? He's probably saying shit like, this is my house. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Something like that. I'm going to have her over here because I can type of shit. The icks, like, it is her house. It is her house. I'm telling you, he waited. He knew this was on the schedule. He knew she was not going to be home. He waited until she was going to be out of town to do this shit. So, okay, now it's dinner time, dude. Fuck, man. So they head to dinner. Lisa and Larsa walk up together, and Lisa is like, this is probably not a good place for me to be right now. Larsa doesn't know what just happened. So she's like, I thought maybe it would be a good distraction. And she's like, no. Lisa's face, like her face is vacant. It is wild to be watching this. It's wild to have this documented, right? Like it's so rare that you see these moments of true bottoms, like, wow, this is your lowest low bottom of your life. Like these low points where you look back going, oh my God, I can't even explain how I was feeling. You rarely get to see it. And she doesn't even look like herself. And she explains that she's like, people are talking to me. People are talking around me. I can't hear anything. It's just like noise because how would you focus? How would you focus? Marina couldn't even be there. Like her kids are in this house. Now, I know it may seem, like what are they going to do to the kids? They're not going to hurt the kids. It doesn't really matter. Even I feel unsafe. And like, I don't even have children that I'm sure every mom out there feels the same way. Like your kids are there. It just doesn't feel right. It's not okay. And Lisa manages, thank God, to sneak off and go to the bathroom. But she looks at the cameras like, I cannot have a camera. I just cannot. And she goes into the bathroom. Alexia's good friend Johnny shows up with a message from Todd, and it is getting a little much, okay? It's getting a little much with this whole. Part of me wonders if, because last season they had such a big kind of controversial moment with Todd and Peter and the fight and, whatever, if they're laying it on a little thick. And Alexia, when she opens up the watch And she's like, oh my God, I get to match yours. And Adriana in her confessional's like, the difference is I bought mine. Right after she opens up this, she starts to give this little speech, which she kind of started to do at the wedding too. I want you all to believe in love. And even with Lisa, with what she's going through. And then they cut over to Lisa in the bathroom. But before I get to that Lisa moment, Alexia is really driving this storyline that she is the one who's madly in love and she's got it all. Right? And I think this is, it's a little intense. And I think this is, okay, it'll happen in a second, but she's putting it on. And I liked Todd a lot last season, but he's laying it on thick. Anyway, let's go over to Lisa in that bathroom. She's on the phone with the nanny and she's telling the nanny, I don't care what he said, because he kicked her out and told her to go to the guest house. She's like, get in that house. This poor nanny. This nanny's like, I can't really tell him no when he's telling me, like, I don't have that kind of authority. Like, he trumps you right now because he's here. But then back to Alexia's love speech. She's saying that a woman should like never depend on a man. And Adriana calls her ass out. Now, see, Adriana had a bad season last season because she was kind of doing the most. So I think she took some notes from the audience feedback and has toned it down a little bit. And she calls her out. She's like, you just opened up a $25,000 watch. And she's like, this was a gift. And actually, it's $50,000. Okay. And Adriana's like, it's just a little silly that you're sitting here saying don't depend on a man when this is a little bit of a back and forth, And Alexia goes, what I'm saying is I've been in Lisa's shoes and I get what she's going through. And Adriana then joins in and is like, yeah, I've been there. I'm kind of, recently there. And it's scary when you have to start over again and build it from scratch and figure out how you're going to pay the bills and whatnot, which I do give Adriana a lot of shit because her Instagram is all promo. It's like promo, this, I'm going to be at this appearance, whatever. And I kind of feel like I should take that back and give a little retroactive apology because mama's just hustling for her dollar. And I feel a little shitty that she's just doing this is what she was doing. She's like, this is all I have. This is my skill set and this is how I can make money. And so, hey, do you? So Adriana, I apologize. So Lenny's still, I'm sorry. When they bring up Lisa, this makes them realize, where is Lisa? Because she's been gone for a minute. So Marisol goes looking for her. And Lenny, she realizes that she's in the bathroom and Lenny will not let the nanny in the house. And Marisol's like, you need to take control of the situation. And she's like, has he changed the locks? Like, and honestly, I would be scared of that too. Lenny seems like he's that fucking nuts. So obviously Lisa is in a panic. So she's walking down the path at one point. She's on the phone with somebody and now she snaps again at the producer. And the producer's like, we're just following. She's like, you're not following anything. Okay? You're not following anything. Do you understand me right now? All right. If you're spending time with loved ones for the holidays, chances are you're going to hear a lot of stories. The ones you love to hear and the ones you've heard a lot. But have you ever wanted to help your loved ones document those timeless stories? Writing an entire book of life memories can be challenging. However, Storyworth makes it fun and easy. This is how anyone can write a book about their life. Every week, Storyworth will email your loved one a single life-related question that you pick from their collection, like what's the bravest thing you've ever done? Or what's the farthest you've traveled? And all they have to do is reply with a story, okay? Then after a year, Storyworth compiles your loved one's stories and memories and any photos into an exquisite hardcover book, creating a valued keepsake. I tell you, I would love to keep that at my grandmother's house. We would just cherish that. Actually, we'd probably fight over it, to be honest. We'd keep it at her house and then we'd fight over it. I would get it. Actually, no, I would get it. Tell you that right now. Millions of stories have already been told with Storyworth because they make the process so simple. Get started with your loved one for the holidays, and before you know it, you'll both be cherishing those timeless stories for generations to come. We ended up finding out some really cool things about my granddaddy when we did this because he served in World War II and he never really talked about it. But I feel like when you get this email and can sort of type it out, kind of not anonymously, but in a little bit more of a, I don't know, like private setting, when we read the stories he had from when he served in the Navy in World War II, we were like, you're a badass. Really cool stuff. So help your family members share their story this holiday season with Storyworth. Go to storyworth.com/she speaks today and save $10 on your first purchase. That's STORYWORTH.com/she speaks to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/she speaks. Oh my God, yes.com is a website with findings from the largest ever research study into women's pleasure. In partnership with Kinsey Institute researchers, they asked tens of thousands of women what made their pleasure better, solo and with partners. And then they found the patterns in those discoveries, the physical techniques and psychological techniques. And all that wisdom is organized on omgyes.com as super honest videos, animations, and how-tos. One thing their research found is how easy it is for us to lose our curiosity about pleasure and intimacy. So many of us think things like, I've already got techniques that work for me, I'm good. But finding out what works for other people can help you find new things that you didn't even know you or your partner liked. There are always ways to explore. OMG Yes is for women, for men, and couples. Some think it's only for women, but it's actually relevant for anyone who wants to learn more about women's pleasure. I personally enjoy the toys section because it teaches you how to enhance toy pleasure. I learned a lot of things. I learned actually a lot of things I was already doing kind of accidentally. So I just leaned into those techniques. I've used OMG Yes a lot, and it really does feel empowering to see these experiences and techniques detailed so openly without any blushing or shame. What they're doing is long overdue. Go to omgyes.com/she speaks for a special discount. So Marisol goes back to the group, and I mean, she's like, oh my God, you guys, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And she's like, the girls. And then they're like, what? The girl's in the house? She's like, yeah. And Alexia's like, oh my God, we have to call 911. Where it's clear she really does call 911 for everything. Talk about abusing the system. I think of what Lenny would say. Ooh. I would like to point something out. Someone on my Patreon said, this is not me defending Lenny. However, my husband is a firefighter, and it is kind of true that you shouldn't call 911 for a broken wrist. You should absolutely just drive her to the ER. And I was kind of like, I didn't want to say that, but I sort of thought the same thing. Because all that's going to happen is a team of people will show up just to drive her to the ER. Because she's not like a true emergency. Like, let's get her in the car right now and go to the ER. It was just his lack of concern that was so rude. Like, he was like, she's fine. Put some ice on it. It was his lack of compassion for it. And the yelling at Lisa and shit that made us all like. Anyway, moving on. But so they're in just a tiz, like, cannot believe it. Oh my God. And then they do some confessionals where Lars is like, I cannot believe it. I never thought it would happen. And Alexia's like, oh my God, I cannot. I'm so disappointed. But then the producer asks Kiki, can you believe that Lenny is cheating? And she's like, yeah, I can. Just the shape of his head. She's like, bald heads, they cheat a lot. And then she goes, oh my God, wait. You have the crew. The bald head is like, wait, you know you cheat. Come on. And then the guy goes, no. I have laughed at that over and over again. I've watched that little clip so many times. What makes me laugh the most is that Kiki says it, and then she keeps explaining, and then she realizes, like, oh my God, he's like, there's a bald guy right there. And instead of being like, sorry, not all bald guys, instead she goes, you know you cheat. Come on. As if he's going to be like, yeah. But the guy goes, no. So Julia wants to break up the tension. Real smart. As if in the history of Housewives, playing a game has ever broke up tension. So she asks Marisol for a game. And the game is it's like this card game where you read a card and you have to pick who is likely to do it. And the first one is, who would get high on their own supply if they were a drug dealer? And everyone picks Alexia, which is funny. But Alexia goes, I don't even like Coke. And Marisol's like, me, I would absolutely get high on my own supply. I respect this bitch so much. She's like, I don't need to hide the fact that I party my fucking ass off. Okay. Then the next one is, who's the dirty cop? And Alexia's like, me. I'm the dirty cop. It's way more fun to be a dirty cop. And again, Marisol goes, hell yeah, you get to steal all their guns, their Coke. Then we get to the worst one. Julia pulls the card. If we were all prostitutes, who would make the least amount of money? And Julia goes, me. I'm in my pajamas all the time. And then Alexia says, no, you know how to be a prostitute. You're Russian. And when this lands like a ton of bricks, she goes, well, I can say whatever I want. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it made me feel disgusting because I know that it is a human rights crisis that Russian women are trafficked. This isn't like a voluntary thing at all. What the fuck are you talking about, Alexia? Okay. We'll get further into it. Because then the next one is, who has the lowest standards? And Julia goes, well, Alexia has low standards of Russian women, apparently, because she thinks we're all prostitutes. And Alexia says, I didn't say that. I was actually giving you a compliment. And then Alexia's confessional says, because prostitutes are really good at their jobs. Oh my God. So here's the bummer about Alexia. And someone on my Facebook, someone in the Facebook group said that, so I got corrected and I took the note that when it comes to Peter and his girlfriend, the story that Alexia has for what happened is most likely inaccurate and most likely a cover story. And his girlfriend dropping the charges is probably just because it's a typical cycle of domestic abuse situation where you go back to your abuser and you drop the charges, and it doesn't necessarily mean it didn't happen. And I said, okay, I can see that. I can totally agree. I think I wasn't prepared to say that Alexia was willing and is willing to cover that up, because then that says a lot about Alexia, that she's willing to look the other way, that her son could possibly be abusing his girlfriend and is willing to get him off and lie. Because that's saying a lot about Alexia. Are we willing to go there? And this person was pretty brilliant in their reply, which is like, Alexia's, it's a lot of excusing problematic men in Alexia's life. And you see it when the way she talks to Nicole about her dad, just suck it up and let men be men and deal with it. And just you put them first and they can do whatever they want to you. And you just keep showing up. And it's very, very problematic. Once you strip the layer of Alexia's likability and TV personality away and look at the truth of it, you go, oh shit, you're like a Trump supporter, huh? Fuck. Because if you go through Peter's Instagram, he's a proud Trump supporter. And that doesn't come from nowhere, right? And so, here we go, any Trump supporter listening or watching this is like, 1-star review. So when Alexia is saying this, the ignorance of sex workers and of Russian women who are trafficked into this, it was so apparent that her beliefs are conservative, most likely, and ignorant, that I could no longer deny the reality of Alexia. And it's we kind of put our housewives in boxes, like with Dolores from Jersey. At the end of the day, what does old school mean? Well, old school means conservative when it comes to like political beliefs, religious beliefs. And it pains me to say that I'm pretty sure Dolores is anti-abortion. Wouldn't be surprised. So when you strip that layer of housewives opulence and the shit we like away, I'm like, oh yeah, Alexia probably. All right. And so I had to go back into my Facebook group and say, okay, after this last episode, I think there's no denying that she probably did absolutely cover up the fact that Peter didn't just try to stop his girlfriend from driving. I didn't read the full police report, but she said that the police report said that he kicked her and pushed her up against a wall. Like there were multiple things that would not be just someone trying to stop someone from driving a car. So I think we have to face a dark reality about Alexia, unfortunately. And this conversation exposed that. And it's hard. It pains me to say this. It really does. So we will keep going. Alexia then tries to backpedal it and says, we live in Miami and Lenny is Russian or half Russian and I'm pissed off at him today. I'm sorry. I apologize. We're all hookers. But Julia said that, which is not a surprise. In her modeling days, she got that all the time. And why is that, I wonder? Because we did a lot of victim blaming for a long time. Why, when she was 17 or 18 years old, 17 or 18 years old, did she hear that a lot? People, come on now. We did a lot of blaming of the actual girl, and now we are learning that we need to look another direction on it. We skew it completely different. Anyway, the party finishes off and they try their best to have fun. The next day, Lisa says goodbye to Larsa and Alexia and Marisol. They're getting glam. And Larsa went to Lisa's room after Alexia's dinner party and they stayed up till 3 a.m. crying. And Lisa's like, look, Larsa and I have been at each other's throats for weeks, but when the chips are down, Larsa is there. And isn't that what we needed? We needed it. It was a perfect way. We got enough of them feuding, and now they're there for each other, and it's perfect. Lisa said she decided to wait until the morning because if she had walked in with Lenny and that girl in the house, it just would have been an ugly scene. And she realizes he's trying to push me over the edge, which is crazy. What are you, but Alexia is like, you need to take that ring off. You need to let him know, I don't want you. I don't need you. And she makes her cry. And then she says this line. Oh my God. She goes, I have a long, scary road ahead of me, you know? Oh my God. That was so sad. Oh, that was so sad. But they grab her and they hold her and they're like, but we're here for you. We are here for you. This is such a good cast because you know that these are the people she would be going to. It's not like these are just her castmates. These are her friends that she would be going to regardless of whether or not they were filming a show, you know? So they board the van. Everyone looks great. I don't love Nicole's outfit. I don't like the super high. It's like a little too high, but everyone, you know, for the most part looks great. Then Larsa decides to give what the fuck are you doing here? She tries to give Gertie shit for chiming in with the Lisa thing. Like, you know, we're divorced. You're not. Don't be trying to chime in. But like, did you really think that Gertie was going to stop talking ever? You can't tell Gertie to be quiet. Gertie's never going to be quiet because you told her to. She's going to talk more now. That plan is going to backfire. So they stop at a coffee stand or some little stand on the side of the road. You guys, no one wanted to order food besides Nicole and Alexia. They drank so much last night. How do these people not wake up and need greasy food? How does Marisol do it? Marisol admittedly barely eats. How do these people... When I was still drinking, I woke up, even if I drank a little bit, I just needed excuses to drink. I was like, I need McDonald's breakfast. But these people are like, I'll just get a black coffee. Ugh. Alexia and Julia are left last at the stand as everyone makes their way back to the van. So Alexia tells Julia she's sorry and she doesn't want her to feel uncomfortable. But Julia goes, well, I do. Alexia, the problem is, so Alexia couldn't make the correct apology because she doesn't realize she doesn't realize her thinking is wrong. Her opinion is incorrect. Instead of going, it was a stupid joke, I fucked up. You know, I realized that Russians are trafficked and it's an epidemic. We need to fix it. No, instead she keeps doubling down. She's like, I'm just so mad at Lenny and he's Russian. It has nothing to do with your nationality, right? What? It literally was, what? So Julia tells her about what it was like living in Paris and London when she was 17, 18, being called a Russian prostitute. And then Alexia says, Russian women, you know, because they have that reputation. And Julia is like, what reputation? No, it's called assumption. Women become prostitutes not by choice. Exactly. The way it comes out with the champagne, talking about your expensive watch, and you're making fun of Russian women making money with their bodies, you know, and you lived off drug money and fuck. She's like, I never made money off drug money because he lost it all. I had money from my father who passed away. Okay, well, so now she's pissed and you're trying to build me up because you're hurt that I made a comment you didn't like. Don't use my life and my past to hurt me because it's not going to hurt me. I know what kind of a woman I am. So don't say things to hurt me just because you're upset. And she's doing all of this in her face. And Julia tells her, don't put your finger in my face. And Alexia is like, well, you're going like this to me and you're trying to offend me. And Julia actually says, I am calling you out. And Alexia goes, but you're trying to, and Julia snaps, well, your sorry isn't working for me right now. And then Alexia slowly just sets her drink down. And I'm talking slowly. So meanwhile, the rest of the women are watching this from the van, and they're doing play-by-plays like sports announcers. Like, we got lots of hands. We got lots of hands going. Oh, we have a lot of Julia's doing a lot of with her head, a lot of head movement. And then Marisol's like, ooh, she put her drink down. Her drink is down. Alexia goes, by the way, this part makes zero sense. Alexia makes no sense here whatsoever. She goes, one thing I am not is a liar. I say the same thing with alcohol, without alcohol. What? Julia goes, well, actually, that makes it worse, because even without alcohol, you are owning to the comment that you say all women are like prostitutes. And Alexia goes, all of you are a bunch of liars. What? Julia goes, tell me what I'm lying about. And because Alexia realizes that she's totally losing the plot, she goes, you know what? I don't have time for this. It's my birthday and I'm going to continue. And I don't like where this conversation is going. Childish. Very childish. So they get on the van and Larsa's like, so, are you and Julia better now? And Alexia's like, I'm really sorry for making that comment, but sometimes when you start talking, you bring up other things and then it turns into, and Marisol finishes it. Marisol is seriously afraid of Alexia when she's mad. And she says in Spanish, a huge mess. And Alexia has the nerve to bring up documentaries about Russian women who come to Miami or the US to have children with American men so they can have the privileges. There's also plenty of documentaries about how Russian women are trafficked. And not to America, to all over the world, countries. It's atrocious. So what the fuck are you talking about? Adriana brings up cocaine cowboys, which is really fucking savage that we can reference a huge Netflix docu-series, right? Wasn't it a series? Regardless, a Netflix documentary. And Alexia tries to spin it. She goes, well, yeah, thank God people got to see a different side to the father of my kids or something like that. Because she's now spiraling. I think the fan favoritism got to Alexia's head. I loved Alexia. I've been pumping her up. Alexia follows me. I interact with her all the time in her comments and stuff. So, we loved her. And so Adriana in her confessional is like, Alexia is judging Julia based off a documentary that she saw. But how would she feel if people saw the cocaine cowboys and they would pass the same judgment on her? Like, what world are we living in on Housewives that we are able to reference cocaine cowboys from Netflix? Like, what the fuck? And then Alexia says, you could be a drug dealer, but you could also be a good person. And then if she didn't say the second part of the sentence, I was going to lose it. She goes, just like you could be a Russian prostitute and you could also be a good human. Yeah, we know. Thank you very much. But then Adriana, I'm like, ooh, should have taken this one back. She goes, but is prostitution more shameful than drug dealing? Because Alexia then goes, no, you know what's more shameful? Women that go out with married men. Fuck. Adriana stays surprisingly calm. She goes, so now you're accusing me of that? That's low, Alexia. Come on. He's not married. And Alexia is now in full head roll. She's practically doing dance moves. She's like, what did I say? If the shoe fits, wear it. Nicole and Gertie from across the van, though, they have Adriana's back. I think Nicole's like, maybe he's separated. And Gertie's like, I think they went out 3 times. So Alexia tells Larsa, she's like, some people like to put other people down. I don't. Well, I think you're literally doing that right now. And then Adriana goes, you were married with Herman when you were dating Todd. And Alexia gets crazy. She goes, I know. That's what I'm saying. Just own it. You're a liar. The guy is married. But Adriana, in the face of this storm, stays calm and goes, I brought him to a date and I hadn't asked him if he's married because his mother just died. Then there's lots and lots of talking over each other. And Julia joins in and Alexia snaps and goes, Julia, will you just leave me the fuck alone? Julia, as much as this isn't strong, it is funny. She goes, oh, yeah, give it to me. Give me more. And even though I don't really get what she did, it was interesting that she was able to kind of laugh at how silly Alexia was being. And then we get another to be continued. I have a theory, though, guys, on the to be continued, the excessive use of to be continued. And I think it's laziness on the part of the editors or the post team. Because if they don't do it to be continued, they have to do it next time on. And those probably take a while. As someone who cuts videos together, I do the most basic things. I feel like they do to be continued because they're like, I don't have time. Let's just put it to be continued on it and then we'll be done. I swear to God, I'm onto something because the excessiveness of the to be continueds, I'm like, this is something else. It's a laziness factor. They don't want to have to make the next time on teaser because I'm telling you, those are time consuming. I'm onto something. Okay. Fantastic episode because not only did we get a ton of Lisa's stuff, which was harrowing and horrifying, but we also got Alexia, Julia, Adriana. And a little light Larsa Gertie. Light. I'm wondering if it will carry over like as a very light C plot, you know? Because we got our A plot with Lisa, Lenny. Now we got our B plot. Alexia's going to, it looks like Alexia is going to be, because she's going to go against Gertie. We saw that already. And Alexia is going to be with Gertie, Adriana, and Julia. So Alexia is having a rough second season. It's rough to have to face that about your faves. But as the fans are seeing with Heather from Salt Lake City, fan favorites can very easily fool us, even though she was never my total favorite. For season 1, up until the reunion, Heather was my girl. Then we got to the reunion of season 1 and I was like, oh, never mind. And then Lisa became my favorite. And Lisa's maintained. She's flawed and I've absolutely called her out, but Lisa's maintained. And then obviously Lisa's having a great season, which to be fair, it's not like they're making it easy for Lisa to have a good season because what they're just doing so poorly. My God. Anyway, that wraps up Miami. I hope you guys have a good holiday. That's going to be the end of this week's episode. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate it. And I love you. Mean it. Bye. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. If you wouldn't mind, if you are listening, could you please leave a 5-star rate and review? That would be amazing. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and comment below. That would also be fantastic. Don't forget, I've got the Patreon up and running now. That is where all the Bravo jams will be covered. I'm talking table flip. I'm talking old school Atlanta. I'm talking old school Beverly Hills. All the good stuff that brought us together as Bravo fans. And of course, follow me on social media if you're not already at She Speaks Bravo on TikTok and on Instagram. And if you want to go that extra mile to support me, buy me a coffee, or 2, or 5 at buymeacoffee.com/SheSpeaksBravo. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.